In this lesson, I'm gonna teach you a really simple strategy to get a better volume balance right off the bat. Hang with me, we're gonna get in the DAW in the next video to put all this stuff into practice, but this is kind of a fundamental, just intellectual exercise that is going to give you a much better volume balance even before you touch a single fader. So let's dive in. What I want you to do is kind of close your eyes and imagine that you are the umpire in a baseball game. So you're looking out onto the pitch, and instead of players, you have your individual elements of your mix. So let's just say that you have a bass, a guitar, a kick drum, a snare, and I don't know, let's see, whatever else, some overheads, etc. So vocal, let's put the vocal in there. Okay, so these are your basic elements inside of the mix. And if you can open your eyes if you're still closing them. So you're standing right here, right? Wherever the umpire actually stands in a baseball game. You're looking out onto your pitch, a very awkward sized pitch that doesn't represent a baseball diamond at all, but ignore that fact. What we want to do is we want to place each of our elements here onto the pitch where they should belong. So for example, my kick and my snare are probably one of the loudest elements of my mix because they should be up in front in my face. So we have a snare here, let's have our kick right behind it, and then our vocal should probably be another main one, so the vocal is going to be in the center. Let's see, I have an overhead, so it's going to be, an overhead left, overhead right. Let's see, what are we missing? Oh, guitars here. So yeah, let's see, we want some really loud guitars because it's gonna be like a punk rock mix or something. So we'll put our guitars right there. Our bass, let's see, our bass should probably belong, maybe right behind our vocal right there. And let's see, what else do we have? Let's say we have some piano, so we'll put our piano out here, etc. It doesn't really matter exactly what elements you have. You just think about all the elements you have in your mix and you just place them on the baseball pitch. The reason why this is so helpful is because the first thing you're gonna do is turn up the volume on your snare, and you're gonna listen to the snare, and then you're going to turn up the volume of the kick drum. And your kick drum should be in relation to the snare volume. So your kick drum should not be louder than the snare, but it should be, relatively the same. And then you do the same with your vocal. Your vocal should be, not quite as loud as your kick drum, but almost there. And then you turn up the volume on your guitars. Your guitars should then be turned up and should be, relatively the same volume as your vocal. It's whatever is closest to you. It should have the loudest volume essentially. And don't use your meters for this, use your ears. By using this method though, you're going to then avoid the common mistakes of the bass is just way too loud because the bass is gonna feel too close. If the bass is right here in your face, you're not really gonna be able to see any of the other elements of the mix. So we don't want that, we want it back here where it's supposed to be, right tucked behind the vocal. Think about this exercise as you're starting out in your mix, because it's more intuitive to think about what's close and what's far away when it comes to volume than anything else that I found, especially for people who are really just still trying to get a handle on what mixing is and how to get better at mixing. So this is gonna be extremely powerful. It may seem very simple, but trust me, the first time I had a student do this, he was really struggling with the volume balance, and then I came up with this exercise. He did that, and then the volume balance he gave back to me was perfect. I could not find a single critique on the volume balance. It was so good. So that's what I'm hoping that this does for you as well. And with that, let's continue into the next video. I'm gonna jump into the DAW and I'm gonna show you how I would volume balance a song and show you exactly this in action. So let's continue on.